Hello and welcome to Africa 54. It's a show that goes around the continent to bring you stories near and far. I'm Chamberlain Oso at Channels Television here in Lagos. I'm joined by Vincent Makori at Voice of America in Washington.
Well, thanks. I'm Vincent Makori at our global headquarters in Washington, D.C. Happy to be with you again for another edition of Africa 54. Let's start off with a look at the flooding affecting Nigeria. Chamberlain Oso in Lagos brings you that story.
The federal government has directed the National Emergency Management Agency to make adequate provisions for victims of flood following declaration of a national disaster in 4 states. Speaking during a visit to camps for internally displaced persons in the affected states, the Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, said the government is committed to providing solutions to the flood disasters ravaging communities.
Rising water levels have led to severe flooding in several states across the country. Those worst hit are Anambra, Delta, Kogi and Niger, where a national disaster has been declared by the National Emergency Management Agency. The respective state governments are making efforts to relocate the displaced. About 1,200 people are taking shelter in this camp in Zungeru, same community that is home to the second largest reservoir in Nigeria. The Vice President pays a visit to the camp, where he assures the victims of what the federal government is doing to address the situation.
I have asked NEMA to immediately supply building materials, cement, and a few things to build and to rebuild in the resettlement site.
Several communities have also been displaced in Anambra State. The Vice President arrived at Otuocha Township Stadium in Anambra East local government area, where he is received by Governor Willie Obiano and the traditional ruler of Onitsha. He set out with some of his hosts to flooded communities on a canoe. From there, the Vice President moves to a town hall meeting with stakeholders from affected communities, where discussions center on the scale of the disaster. He assures the people that federal resources will be deployed to tackle the problem.
We intend, as the federal government, first to, as the matter has been escalated, as the disaster has been escalated to a national one, it means that we're going to deploy federal resources as much as possible to assuage some of the problems that we see.
The next stop is Asaba, the Delta State capital. The Vice President is welcomed by Governor Ifeanyi Okowa. After flying over flooded areas, he promises support for victims and federal government commitment to build resilience after the disaster.
The federal government will be working closely with the state governments, with all of the agencies of the federal government, to ensure not only relief but also resettlement, and in many cases, bringing back livelihoods in various communities that have been impacted.
As the rains continue, floods are expected to still impact coastal communities in 4 states where a national disaster was declared and in states that have been placed on a watch list.